So I mentioned the keyboard, and this is another area where, having this larger display really helps. So if we go here, and you can see it's basically like having a keyboard in landscape mode. And so it's a lot more spacious, it's just wider overall, but it's not too wide. It's easy to hold with two hands and then use your thumbs. You can see I can easily reach across. Use the keyboard and we'll type out. You see, I was able to type that out with no mistakes, and a lot of that has to do with, obviously, the autocorrect functionality with the virtual keyboard itself, but the keyboard is just much more spacious, and I've noticed that whenever typing, it's a great size. It's very easy to type on. This is the stock Android keyboard that comes with all Android devices, and again, another benefit to having the latest version of Android, version 2.3, that's currently available to the public, is that you get this new and improved virtual keyboard. Along with that, you get swipe. So if you like using swipe, you can use that. The Quick Brown Fox, the Quick Brown Celeb. It's a celebrity now. Fox is kind of getting a little full of himself. So yeah, the typing experience with that larger display is definitely much better. So those are the benefits to having this display, and it absolutely improves the experience. The only problem is that, yes, the phone does look a little weird. It's kind of this small, portly phone. It's just a square design in your hand, and so it's going to stand out. Now, for some people, that won't bother them at all. I mean, some people won't mind having a device that looks a little odd, or maybe you personally like the design and the shape. But again, if you don't like it, it is a downside. The hardware itself feels solid. It's made out of plastic entirely, but it has a nice solid feel to it. It's pretty thin. And then on the back here we have a very textured finish, and so it looks very solid. It's not a rugged device, obviously, even though it has kind of that rugged texture. But it's a typical design that Pantech uses. They seem to be fond of using textured finishes, and so this is much like the other devices that they've made. But overall, it feels solid in the hand. It is kind of wide, but it's not too wide. Like I said, I can easily type, even though the phone does look wide. Once you get two hands on it, you can easily type. And then keep in mind that my hands are incredibly tiny, so of course it looks like a giant tablet in my hand, but it's actually not as big. The phone isn't really as big as it looks. I'll give you guys a couple of dimensions. It's 4.5 inches by 3 inches, and then it's about 0.44 inches thick. So that's the hardware. On the left side here we have the volume rocker buttons, nothing on the bottom. On the right is the micro USB port. It's an interesting place for the micro USB port. Obviously, we've seen it on the side before, but it's basically, smack dab in the middle of the right spine here. When it is plugged in, it's kind of difficult to type. That's something to consider. Not a big deal, but again, it is right there on the side. And then on the front, you have the power button, which is also the screen lock button, and the 3.5mm headphone jack. I forgot to mention this earlier, but another customization that Pantech has added that's really a nice customization is on the lock screen itself. You can see you can either drag the lock in the circle to unlock the screen, but you also have options to go directly from the lock screen to the dialer or the call log, to the web browser, to messaging, to your music player, or to your email. So that's a nice customization that Pantech has added, one that I really enjoy. But that's the hardware design. And then on the back of the phone we have the 5-megapixel camera. This is an autofocus camera. There's no flash, as you can see. It does capture 720p HD video. There's no front-facing camera, so if we take a look on the front here, no front-facing camera, just the rear-facing camera. And picture quality has actually been pretty decent. Now, I've uploaded a video sample using the camcorder. It's an HD video sample, so you can take a look at that and kind of judge for yourself if the quality is adequate enough. But if we take a look at some of the pictures, I've actually been pleasantly surprised by the quality of the pictures that this camera has delivered. Keep in mind that it is a mid-range device, and so it's not going to be perfect, but actually colors, the colors are a little faded, but overall picture quality is pretty decent This is a picture of outside. Now this was taken on a gloomy day, so if it looks like there's no colors, it's because the sun wasn't shining. But you know, picture quality has been pretty good. You know, if we zoom in here, you can see the detail on the pen with the letters. You know, it gets a little blurry once you zoom in pretty closely, but that's to be expected. You know, with a mid-range device like this, even with a 5-megapixel camera, the lens quality is just, you know, not going to be the best in the world. But still, I've been pretty impressed with the quality overall. So of course, this is an AT&T device, and it uses AT&T's HSPA Plus network, which has advertised peak speeds of 14.4 megabits per second. Now, obviously you're not going to get 14.4 all the time, but you know, those are theoretical speeds. You're probably average more around, say, 2 to 3 megs per second downloads. Now, we didn't get a SIM card with the Pantech Pocket, and it uses a micro SIM, not, you know, your average size SIM card. And so I won't be able to show you any speed test results, but keep in mind it is an HSPA Plus device. Again, being an AT&T device, they have shipped the phone with a lot of AT&T apps. So you have AT&T Code Scanner, Family Map, Navigator. Then if we scroll over, you have featured apps, you know, Flash Player settings. A lot of these are Google apps that come with every Android device. It does come with a memo pad app as well as a widget, AT&T Live TV, My AT&T, PC Suite connector. It also comes with an RSS reader, S-board. Comes with a sketchpad, though I used it and the screen just is not responsive and precise enough to actually use that. But it does come with a sketchpad app. Stocks tutorial comes with a Twitter app out of the box. And then you also have video player, voice memo, YouTube, and YP Mobile. So you'll notice that there are you know, a few AT&T apps, and then a lot of these that Pantech has included that you don't get with other Android devices. The nice thing about the AT&T apps is that you can uninstall them. So if you go to Settings, Applications, go to Manage Applications, we can select Code Scanner, for example, and you can see that you can uninstall it. So that's the nice thing about that. Because, you know, those are obviously taking up some of the memory that you may want to use. Speaking of memory, the phone does ship with a 2 gigabyte card. You can see the micro SD card slot right there. And then it supports up to 32 gigs. Here's a battery, 1650 milliamp hour battery. Now again, you know, because I don't have a micro SIM and, you know, I haven't been able to connect this to AT&T's network, I won't be able to give you any reliable or solid information on battery performance, because, you know, having it connected to a 3G radio and using that HSPA Plus, that's going to make a huge difference. So I can't comment on battery performance. The phone does, of course, support Wi-Fi, which is what I've been using, and then, of course, GPS and Bluetooth, as you saw in the notification bar there. So that's pretty much it, guys. It's a Pantech Pocket from AT&T. Overall, I've been very pleased and impressed, surprisingly so. You know, I was kind of skeptical when I saw the design, and I thought, you know, okay, yeah, is it actually going to help with media? But honestly, it does help. It makes web browsing, watching videos, reading books, using apps, gaming, it makes all of that much more enjoyable. So if you're skeptical, don't be, because it makes the experience more enjoyable. So check it out at your local AT&T store, you know, and see, you know, maybe the hardware design is a little too weird for you, but that's up to you. It's a Pantech Pocket. Thanks, guys, for watching this review. I'm going to have a written review up on PhoneDog, so I may cover some things that I missed here. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter and ask me a question about this device or, you know, any other device, you can. My screen name is PhoneDog_Sydney. I'll try to answer your questions to the best I can. But that's it for me. I'm Sydney from PhoneDog.com. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.